Good morning. Welcome to the Achieving Sustainable Development Goals and Going to Moon, Mars, Beyond discussions. We are at the stage of SDG 16, and in this, we are going to discuss what are SDG 16's targets and pointers, then, what are the post pandemic corrections required, and as usual, how these basic fundamental things, if inculcated in human life, how they are going to be useful for achieving SDG and going to moon, Mars, and beyond. Okay, so let us see what does SDG 16 talks about. What does it talks about? It talks about ethics and values based relations among all the humans, peace everywhere among individuals and nations and organizations as well, justice to all and justice for all, may it be poor person or a rich person, etc., etc. Then building accountable and efficient institutions at all the levels. This is what SDG 16 talks about. Okay, now let us see what are the major hurdles in this SDG 16 are, and are they been aggravated by a pandemic, or what exactly has happened, the impact of SDG, rather the pandemic on the SDG. Okay, these things are available on the UN SDG websites on goal 16, and this data is collected from 2018 till 2021. Now the first point, and my request is, please listen to it broad-mindedly, as a human being, for the human being, and for human survival only. Okay, war is a conflict where more than 1,000 deaths are there in one calendar year, and there are hundreds such places on Mother Earth where wars are going on after the second, 2000 onward, 2000 onward. There are more than 100 places on Mother Earth where war is going on. Now my simple question is, are humans going to fight the wars for millions of years? Look at the 100 years war between Britain and France. Can't there be peace for 100 years so that we achieve sustainable development goals? And within 100 years, I'm guaranteeing you here right now that 100 years peace is there, and we invest our time, energy, human resources over going to moon, Mars, and beyond, we definitely can achieve it. You see, since 2004, I asked this question, put this point in front of the World Bank live discussion, in front of so many scientists and politicians and leaders of different kinds of leaders. In fact, in pandemic, 22nd March 2019, when pandemic started, I have spoken these words. I am quoting over here. Even if you hang my carcasses publicly, you kill me and hang my carcasses publicly, still I shall speak only one truth, that United Nations and all the nations have lost the opportunity, biggest opportunity, to sign a pact of forever peace, so that we can achieve sustainable development goals and go to moon, Mars, and beyond. It is definitely possible. Okay, why I'm saying this? Because war follow no law, no ethics, no values. Hence I feel ashamed of being human being when I see human fighting with each other for such a petty things, simple things which can be resolved. Even kids can solve those problems. Every war is a genocide. Tell me, children, ladies are human beings, and physically challenged are human beings. Elders are human beings. Then are soldiers not human beings? Please think over it. Soldiers also have families. Are they not human beings? Why war? Why cannot we live without the war? What is the problem with human beings? Are we going to shake hands with the dinosaurs' fossils? If such things continues, then are we into the vicious cycle of war, genocide, pandemic, again up, again down, again this, again that? I mean, vicious cycle. Every 5,000 years, 1,000 years, same thing is going on. Please think on it. Because if values-based society is not developed, in SDG 16 cannot be achieved. Please think on it. Now, what are the other problems that have been aggravated by the pandemic? And the children are the easiest and the weakest target for exploitation. Pandemic has aggravated this problem for trafficking and for child labor. I feel ashamed. As a human being, are we, exploiting children? This is nonsense. In 2018, 33% of the trafficked persons were children. Are these human indicators or devil's indicators? I'm feeling ashamed again. Every point make you and me feeling ashamed as a human being. Fourth point, child labor raised to 160 million in 2020. And first time since 2000 the figure has gone up, much up. Each profit more important than that child getting educated. Please think of it. Fifth point, in 2020 there was increase in human rights defenders getting killed. 331 were killed in 32 countries, and it's the almost 20% increase since 2019. I mean, freedom of speech should be there. Somebody spoke in front of me, sir, your video should be in this format, that format, you have put this point wrongly. So what I shall do, I shall correct that and I shall put that point in a better way. I mean, if critics are there, if persons are finding fault and we are going straight on the SDG path, and even simple 0.1% diversion is there, we are not going on the path. Parallel lines are parallel lines. Even 1 minute diversion in terms of angle, even one small degree of angle diversion, we will not be able to reach the goal. So they are trying to correct us. Do not take them as your enemies, because we are trying to achieve sustainable development goals, and human rights institutions and human rights people, they are also human beings, and they are striving to save kids, striving to save ladies, striving to stop the human rights violation. They are not doing for themselves, they are doing for them. So please think of it, and let us stop this human rights violation. Let journalism go on the right path, and let them publish positively so that we achieve SDG. Next point, out of 193 countries, only 82 countries have compliance to have international standard human rights institution till 2020. Imagine there are 193 countries, 82 twos are 164, 193 and 160. Still we are short of 29 countries. It is not even 50% countries where human rights institutions are there of international standard. And we are talking about direct democracy, going to moon, Mars and beyond. High income countries, seventh point is, has 7% chances of bribery for getting the work done in the government offices, whereas 38% chances are more when you go to developing or underdeveloped or least developed countries. With these ethics, a spaceship might not be able to reach to other star. We'll already get destroyed. Last time I given one example. Again, suppose a spaceship is traveling from one star to another star, maybe 10 light years, maybe 15 light years, 50 light years. It takes Suppose even 50 days to travel from this place to this place. Just imagine 100 days. And every day there are certain nut bolts has to be tightened on that spaceship. First 10 days, a person with strong ethics, he will do like this, like this. On all the 100 days with strong ethics, that person will tighten the screws and nut bolts. But a person with this kind of tendency will say, first 10 days. 11th day, anybody's looking? No. Like this, he'll tighten, he'll go away. Now, the person whose conscious is not awake, can he and will he be able to reach to another star? No, because that if those screws are not tightened, those nuts are not tightened, then that spaceship can get boosted. We cannot go to every dimensions with these kinds of ethics, certainly. Okay, and during pandemic, this is, I feel ashamed that even corruption also increased. Now we have come to the point of SDG 16 targets and indicator. Target 16.1, significantly reducing the deaths due to violence. Deaths due to violence. Any kind of violence. Maybe homicide, maybe whatever it may be. But let us start with the homicide. Indicator 16.1.1, by gender, number of victims, international homicide per 100,000. By age, number of victims, international homicide per 100,000. These are two indicators. How many deaths per 100,000. Indicator 16.1.2, by gender, conflict related death per 100,000. Conflict, if it is a war, then how much? If more than 1,000 deaths are there, then it is a war. We already seen. By age, conflict related death per 100,000. By cause, conflict related death per 100,000. Indicator 6.1.2. And whoppingly it has increased. In fact, humanity should grow in coming ages. It should not go down. Because are these devil's indicators or are these human indicators? Please think on it. Indicator 16.1.3, proportion of population subjected to physical violence in last 12 months. How many have been, beaten up physically in last 12 months? Proportion of population subjected to psychological violence in last 12 months. Something like that. Psychological violence in last 12 months. Proportion of population subjected to gender in last 12 months. These are all, are we talking about humans or are we talking about the devil's indicators? Again, I'm saying. Indicator 16.1.4, proportion of population that safe walking alone in the areas they live. They feel that I'm safe here, I can walk outside, my kids can go and play outside. Indicator 6.1.4. Now target 16.2, ending violence against the children. Child abuse, child trafficking, child exploitation and child torture. Again, humans or devil's indicator. What are we talking? Indicator 16.2.1, proportion of children between 1 to 17 years of age who experience physical or psychological punishment from the caregiver in the last 1 month, means 30 days. Proportion of, if there are 100 children out of 100,000, then that is the indicator. Indicator 16.2.2, number of victims of human trafficking per 100,000 population by gender, age and the form of exploitation. Again, devil's indicator. Indicator 16.2.3, proportion of people between age 18 to 29 experiencing gender violence. Ladies, gents, these, and are these devil's indicators or human indicators? That is what I started feeling. Then target 16.3, promoting rule of law at local, national to international levels to get justice to all and equal access to all for justice. It is available only for rich, not for the poor. Available for influencers, not for non-influencer. Available for leaders, not followers. This is not access to all. Indicator 16.3.1, proportion of victims of violence who reported violence against them to competent authorities. There are people who do not go to competent authorities. So how many have gone? That is the indication. Indicator 16.3.2, unsentenced detainees as a proportion of overall prison population. Once there was a news that a person stole 10 rupees note from someone and he was there in the jail for almost 1 year. Whereas a person who stole 1000 rupees was out of jail, something like that. I mean, injustice should be avoided. Simple. Indicator 16.3.3, proportion of population who experienced the dispute in last 2 years and the kind of formal and informal resolution mechanism they opted for. Amicable solution they found out, or they went to court and the justice was given, something like that in last 2 years. Target 16.4, by 2030 significantly reducing illicit arm flows, illicit financial flow. Also strengthen the recovery and return of stolen assets. Also combating all kinds of organized crimes. Come on, if to control some person you need arms, it means what are you talking about? Are you humans or devils? Indicator 16.4.1, total value of illicit financial inward flow in USD and total value of illicit financial outward flow in USD. Illicit, by corrupt means money reaching to some person, by corrupt means money reaching out to some person, maybe in the country, maybe outside the country, maybe locally, maybe internationally. Indicator, that is the indicator 16.4.1. Now indicator 16.4.2, proportion of seized or found or surrendered arms with their origin traced and plugging the national and international loopholes by using international plan legal instruments. Who are supplying the AK-47 or the guns to those 7-year or 18-year children, maybe it in Sierra Leone or so many places around the world? How can arms reach such tender age kids? We have to stop this. If we are humans, we are going to stop this. If we are going into the devil's track, we will never stop it. I mean, it is beyond words now. Target 16.5, substantially reduce the corruption and bribery in all forms. Why the hell the bribery, the bribery has to be there? Your work, you apply there, get the work done, he gets the salary for that. The person who bribes and person receiving bribes, both are corrupt minded. That is what it is indicating. Indicator 16.5.1, proportion of people who were asked for the bribe by government officials, public servants in last 12 months. Proportion 100 out of 100,000. Indicator 16.5.2, proportion of business persons who were asked for bribe by government or public servants in last 12 months. Businessmen, they have so many things to do. They have to pay this tax, that they have to do that. Target 16.6, develop effective, accountable and transparent institution at all the levels. At all the levels, institutions should be ethically perfect, values based. That's all. Indicator 16.6.1, sector-wise primary government expenditure as proportional of original approved budget. Sector-wise, this sector, that sector. Indicator 16.6.2, proportion of citizens satisfied with their last experience of public service. Suppose a person is not satisfied with the public service. So how many proportion? Suppose there are people who are satisfied. Yes, I got the work done within a day. I went in the morning and evening I got my certificate. How many kinds of people are there? Their proportion, the positive, the negatives, both. Target 16.7, ensuring the responsive, inclusive, participatory, and representative decision making at all the levels. Are the local, national, and inclusive people being taken into account while taking the decision? Indicator 16.7.1, proportion of positions in national and local institutions, including legislature, public service, judiciary, by gender, age, persons with disabilities, different populations group. I mean, this group, that group, this race, that race, this and that. Are we inclusive? And are these people representing in this legislation, public service, and judiciary? That is the indicator. Indicator 16.7.2, proportion of population who believe decision making is responsive by gender, age, persons with disabilities, different population groups. Every time if we discuss with all these people, the work done is perfect to the mark. In fact we can say quality work is done. Target 16.8, developing countries should get leadership position in international and strategically important institution of global governance. May it be United Nations, may it be your UN, so many bodies are there. World Bank, IMF, WF, and so many places. Indicator 6.8.1, proportion of voting rights of developing countries in the international organization. I mean, this indicates that veto power should not be there. Straight away, everybody should gain, the equal opportunity. It is left to the, wise people that whether veto power should be there or not. That is left to them. But this is indicating that developing countries should get the opportunity and all those things. Target 16.9, by 2030, provide legal identity to all, including the birth certificates with the registration. If child is born, he should get birth certificate at the spot. I mean, his parents will correct them. Indicator 16.9.1, proportion of children who got their birth registered by government civil authorities by age. Okay, at the birth they should get it, but at the same time, if they are not, some might have left in the villages, then later on they get it. So proportion of out of 100, 99 have got, so 1% left, something like that. Target 16.10, ensuring public access to information and fundamental freedoms in accordance with the national and international agreements, so that journalists can carry out their duty in unbiased way and impartially, truthfully, and with the pure apolitical intentions. I am a political person. I just like to speak whatever the truth is. Similarly, journalists also would like to do the same. Other people, there I think 99.99% people would like to do that in the world. Indicator 16.10.1, number of verified cases of killing, kidnapping, enforced disappearance, arbitrary detention and torture of journalists associated with media personnel, trade unionists also, human rights advocates also in the last 12 months. Human rights activists, and they are getting tortured or killed. I mean, so this is a devil's indicator, in fact. Indicator 16.10.2, number of countries where they have adopted, implemented, and constitutional right, the constitutional right to information with statutory and policy guarantee. For example, in India, Right to Information Act is there. For example, freedom is given. There are, I can show you the newspaper where they are pro-government, they are not pro-government, they are pro to this party, they are pro to that party. I mean, if 10 papers are there in India, for example, one from Bengal, one from Kerala, one from Delhi, one from Maharashtra, one from this, all these, suppose 10 odd papers are kept before. You come to know about different views of the people, and it is welcome in India. Many a times, I taught to the people, their parents were fighting a political, the contest against each other. One was sitting here, one was sitting here. Then I said, can you shake hands? Sir, we are good friends. They said. That's what is in India. So they are good friends, but their political views are different. So one is fighting for Congress party, one is fighting for BJP, one for Samajwadi, one for Trinamool Congress, one for Communist Party, one for Nationalist Party, one for this party, that party, and so many parties are there. Okay, but political freedom should be there, and in fact, freedom of speech should be there. That is the basic right in India. Target 16.A, to be able to combat with terrorism, violence, and crimes of large level, helping developing countries, to counter those offenses by cooperation and capacity building. Any kind of violence, how can, terrorism and all those things, violence, how can a person blow himself for certain cause? So it is better I should not talk about all these things. This is inhuman and devil's act. The people who brainwash them, people who get brainwashed, people who are doing for money, people who are doing for arms, people who are doing for this and that cause, they should all come together, solve the problem. Let us go to Moon, Mars, and beyond. Let us not waste time in such petty things. That's all is I want to say. Indicator 16.8.1, existence of independent national human rights institutions in compliance with Paris Principles, drafted by NHRI in 1991 and adopted by UN General Assembly in 1993. Paris Principles has 6 main standards as per the UNDP website. Let us be human. If not, a devil or terrorist or God or a saint or, fakir or this or that, whatever it may be. Let us be human at least. Let us behave humanly. That is what the crux of these Paris Principles. One is mandate and competence. Second is autonomy from the government. Okay, autonomy from government. Independence guaranteed by statute or constitution. Constitution talk about freedom of speech in India. Pluralism. There are many kinds of people, so many religions, so many castes, so many creeds, so many dogmas, so many people, so many this and that. India has pluralism. And my neighbors are from UP, other is from Bengal, other is from Kerala, other is from Tamil Nadu, other is from Gujarat. I mean, we are living together since 50, 100 years. I mean, if we see similar people, we feel like something is wrong. Pluralism is in the blood of India, for example. Adequate resources, adequate power of investigation if something good or bad happens. Okay? These are 6 main principles. First is mandate and competence. Second is autonomy from the government. Third is independence guaranteed by statute or constitution. Fourth is pluralism. Fifth is adequate resources. Sixth is adequate power of investigation. Okay. Now, target 16.B, promote the non-discriminatory laws and policies for sustainable development goals. Sustainable developments are, if we don't have sustainable development, then we'll perish. Humans, civilization will perish. The last indicator is indicator 16.B.1. As per the international human rights laws, proportion of population felt or faced discrimination or harassment during last 12 months. Again, discrimination. Somebody said, I didn't like your face and he rejected my candidature for CEO position. Somebody rejected my candidature as a CEO because I was from India. I passed all the merit based criteria. I mean, still I have heard those words. So I also have faced. At one place I'm not from this caste, and one place I'm not, I'm from Asia. At one place, so many discrimination everybody faces. It is not about me or you or everybody. Even I can tell you, president or prime minister of any country or king of any country, they also face the discrimination. I'm telling you the reality. It's a reality. Why cannot we treat each other without unbiased and without without bias and without discrimination? We are human beings. Now my final request, even in all the dimensional plurality, if all the humans follow human values and ethics and behave humanly, then we can solve all the problems humans keep facing every now and then. And also, no goal and no aim will be difficult for humans to achieve, may it be spiritual goal or millennium development goals. Today, or if we are going to moon, Mars and beyond and any dimensions tomorrow, and if we face problems there, we can solve them as well. This is what I quoted in 2007 when I published Mobility of Engineers in the Interstellar Era in 2007, and 2006 I published Mobility of Engineers in the Interstellar Era. One was, I in fact made the presentation in Hungarian Parliament 2006, and 2007 I couldn't go to Polytechnic University in USA, but my presentation, and in both the presentations and both the papers, these points were there. Again, within 10 seconds, I quote and unquote this sentence. Even in all the dimensional plurality, if all the humans follow human values and ethics and behave humanly, then we can solve all the problems humans keep facing now and then. And also, no goal and no aim will be difficult for humans to achieve, may it be for spiritual or millennium development goals today, or if we are going to moon, Mars and beyond in any dimensions tomorrow. If we face problems there, we can solve there in a human way. Unquote. Thank you very much. If you have any suggestions, please come. I shall try to implement, because to err is human, I already said, but to correct the error, correct the mistake and move on the path of goal is a better human being. Let us try to be better human being. That's all is my request. Thank you very much.